Welcome back to Sustained Overruled. I am the anonymous attorney. All right, so let's get started here. Before I get into day 162, before we get into the proceedings, I want to start off with something here. Before I do my recap, I want to start off with the very end of today's court proceedings, okay? Obviously, let me see. Do you want to do I'm always rambling. Hold on. I want us to take a look here because I know I'd ended the live, but I still continued watching because this case has a hold on me. But let's take a look here. One moment. Am I sharing? I am sharing. All right. Let's get started.
Even know. Y'all think about that with me. Because or we could say
They're going over the jury charge here. But I thought the very end of today's proceedings were rather interesting.
the defendant and then like also do another explanation for overt acts. Or not say anything at all. We need to come back to this one.
I may have rewinded a little too
that
far.
Whole thing and maybe give us a note as to why we're coming back to it.
Hey, Allie. All right, come on, let's get to the right part. Let's get to the right spot.
All right, everybody agrees the fingerprint one is unnecessary. And on the DNA.
Okay, let me read. Allie, hey, I'm back, and I think I have a different opinion of Doug Law. I went back and watched again. All right, we'll get you in here in a little bit. Greg says Weinstein was terrible. All he talked about was the watch instead of defending his client. I completely agree. So the reason why we're starting with the very end of today's court proceedings, I want to highlight why Weinstein and Yak owe Shard some money. they need to give him some legal fees, okay? And we're gonna see it here in a moment, and then I'll recap the trial. We're gonna have a discussion. I'll put my link in the chat, and obviously folks can feel free to jump in. Allie, we can start with you. I'd like to know your opinion on Doug.
We left that with y'all's notes say that the state and the defense agree that this is probably unnecessary, but the state is double checking. Was what y'all come up with?
Come on.
Okay, well, double check, but I don't think there is any DNA evidence.
All right, we're almost there.
The only one I could think of was there was a 2013 alleged armed robbery where there was some blood in the car. But I don't know.
Did y'all have a DNA expert come say that blood belongs to anybody? No. Okay, well then we don't have DNA evidence. Although I'll leave it in until the state double checks. All right.
Right, here
1.40.10, y'all are fine with it being said a crime occurs when the law is violated by a defendant's intentional action?
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go.
Intent, everybody's fine with. No presumption, everybody's fine with. Presumptions and inferences, 1.41.12. Defense says it's inapplicable. It's not inapplicable. I mean, it's always true.
It is always true. I don't think it's necessarily tailored to this case. I don't believe that is going to be an issue at all about mental states, or there's going to be no mental defense.
Okay, I see what you mean by that. Thoughts on this? I mean, I typically give it, and typically mental health defenses aren't an issue, but state.
We don't think, however, we don't know what arguments may prevail.
All right, I'll just leave it in. Okay.
I'll explain a little bit.
1.42.10, parties to a crime, requested by the state, and the defense it says the defense does not object if this is tailored to the Donovan Thomas murder only. That would be interesting.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't believe that, and obviously in some jury instructions, they apply to all acts. But sometimes they apply to certain acts and not others. Mr. Stillwell has been accused of being the shooter of Chamel drinks. There's been no testimony
Right.
any other way other than him being the shooter, as being the principal, not as an accomplice, not as party to a crime. There's been no evidence that Mr. Stillwell is a party to a crime of the Chamel drinks case. So I would object, and I understand that the state wants it, especially with Mr. Kendrick. I'm not sure. It's unclear to me what role they think Mr. Kendrick played in the.
Doug is asleep at the wheel, okay? He is not able to defend his client. You have Shard basically jumping in. So what they're doing here, they're conferring over the jury instructions, obviously in preparation for the jury deliberations. This is when they come together. They're basically defining basic terminology. They're going over the charges. They're going over the elements in order to guide the jury. In this case, Doug Weinstein is asleep. He is not even recognizing that the state is asking for an instruction that will pretty much that's a peril to his client. He's asleep at the wheel. I don't understand what's going on.
Donovan Thomas at this point, but I would assume that would be as a party to a crime.
This
So
this is what Doug is supposed to be doing. I have no idea what he's doing, but in any event, let's get started from the very beginning, okay? But I thought that was I don't know.
Burnout. We all experience it at some point. It's so important to me that I've actually been working on it in therapy.
All right, come on. So let's get started. Let's go to the very beginning. Let me get my notes.
That's the only reason you ain't seen your mom.
Yeah, this shit was last
I may
night.
have gone too far. Hold on, let me get my notes. Okay, so obviously we have limited time. I'd like to assume we all have jobs, or at least we aren't on vacation. So let's see, 9:08, that's when the direct resumed. I'm just gonna go over here so that I can get my my timestamps right, because I wish they had a clock or something up here. This is around 9:08 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to think so. I want to go to, if this is it, I want to go to, that's 17. I want to go to about 27. I just want to get into the wiretap of a call between Tyesha and Garlington. Let's see.
Was there more information provided in these calls versus what Mr. Stillwell told you the night that you went and spoke to him that morning?
Yes.
And the reason why I want to bring up the Tyesha wiretaps is because they directly contradict what she said on the stand. And that's why I have a perjury as a part of my title. There's going to be I'd like to assume that folks may have questions of perjury, and we can get into that, but let's first hear what Tyesha had to say. I hope I have the timestamp right. It's supposed to be 27. Hold on.
Going down, man.
Yeah,
No,
we
I'm
know
like, man, you ain't
are.
gonna get it out, man. I'm like, man,
It's
Come
it's
in.
yeah,
there.
now we just heard him talking to the other officer, like, yeah, we can go in, make sure ain't nobody. Man, it be them up under the house. Goddamn, man, but 4 of us in the house, they keep saying, man, you don't go out. I'm like, man, I got me fucked up, man.
You took out right?
No, I hit the back door. Them folks they was on both sides. And I was just like, I seen them on one side, 'cause I was just gonna sit in the car, in the yard.
Yeah.
But I seen them looking at the cars over there, go through the other way. They know they was over there. I feel like, hey, come here. I'm like, hey, man, I just heard some gunshot. Yeah,
you
I'm like, hey,
say?
man, I just heard a gunshot, man. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's like where you coming from, like the wood. I'm dry here. It pouring down rain. No, for like, man, you ain't wet at all, man. I'm like, man, I'm telling, man. I was in the woods. I don't know how I ain't wet. I was in the woods.
Right,
I
come
ain't.
on.
Man, what? Y'all check that house out, boy. Hell no, I ain't got nothing to do with that house. They still went in there though. They didn't check that. That was God, boy. Yeah, be safe. Oh, they ain't searched. They just looked around. Make sure nobody dead. Yeah. So when nobody know when they went in. Yeah. They found now. Got man, look Quay and another name. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Greg. So I'll skip over. That's a good point. I'll skip over the phone calls. I thought the phone calls were interesting though, so I'll have to create, I guess, probably a separate video that's not alive. But I thought the phone calls. I guess I'm just going to talk about them. I thought the wiretaps between Tyesha and Garlington were very interesting because in one, I don't write everything down verbatim because I'm usually working, but I know that they discussed at least around the 9:20 Eastern time timestamp. They talked about what is this? No, that came after. Right, immediately after that wiretap, they talked about Stillwell being involved in a high-speed chase and a gun. And Tyesha during that wiretap was questioning why SB would be involved in a high-speed chase, considering that he had a believe she mentioned him being in a rental and a gun that was clean. That directly contradicts what she said on what is this on direct examination when she was questioned about hey Jerome when she was questioned about whether she gave this gun to SB and she obviously denied it. And then let's just go over here again. Um, let's see. And for the phone calls, right? I because the phone calls are difficult to, or the wiretaps, those would be difficult for defense to successfully argue against inadmissibility, right? They would have to show that something was improper. Um, and the state was able to get these in. So I was thinking because the wiretaps are in, and obviously some of them might be incriminating to an extent, if you're not able to attack the admissibility, what they'd have to attack is the credibility of the witness. Obviously, we've seen how Shard started off cross-examining Viverito and basically attacking her credibility. Shard is trying to show that Viverito should not be believed. She's not worthy of a jury assigning a lot of weight to her testimony. As for Doug, we're going to get into Doug. As for Doug, he obviously has not done any of this. All right, so let's see. There are some songs, though. I think I should play these songs. Hold on. It's around the 9:51. I'll have to find it. It was around 9:51 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know. Let me see if I can find. It's 17. Hold on. I'm terrible with math. Let me use a calculator. Let me see. One moment. Let's see. You guys don't want to listen to me breathing, so I'll just another ad. I'll just play this while
Your
I
membership
find
is more than just a card.
while
It's
I
your
find
gateway to
the
extraordinary.
timestamp. They don't even sound like they're talking. Yeah, but I just want to give this background before we get into Doug because I am highly disappointed. Not surprised, but I'm really, really disappointed. 51. Okay, so it's going to be around plus 17. It's going to be around 10.
What the hell you at? Hey,
No,
so
around
crazy. I was just finna call you and tell you I just ran to the nigga, bro. For real? Yeah. I'm like, listen, bro.
hold on.
Bro,
There was
bro,
some.
man,
Oh, here we go. My math might be
So
crazy,
looking
but I
at first, the
got that
first
right.
story Do you see the
If the
song that's
music
being
sounds
played
trash, let me know. But I
on
I
this
actually enjoyed
particular
some of the
Instagram story?
music in this trial.
It's a song by Slime Life Shorty.
And are you familiar with that name?
I am.
And who is your understanding who Slime Life Shorty is?
A gentleman by the name of Wonnie Lee.
And going to the last story, do they appear to be in
Someone
a
play the
studio?
music.
Yes.
And did you see someone tagged by
Now, I had mentioned this in the earlier stream. That was impromptu. I had no plans of going live, but when I realized that cross-examination was about to start, I had to get on there. But I think this weekend, that's what we're gonna spend. We're gonna spend time trying to break down these lyrics, and basically, we're just gonna be dissecting them. Okay.
the name of Little Co?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who that is?
That would be DeMarco Boyer.
Is that the same
Always
DeMarco
hard
Boyer
to
who
be
was
on
on
the
a call that we
phone
just
all
listened
the
to?
time.
It was.
That's funny.
And did you hear where they were rapping the song?
I did.
In hearing them rap the song, was there a mention of Shell Kel
Yes.
or Kel?
Yes.
Did I go past the song? I think I did. No bueno. Hold on. All right, hold on. Was this the red light song? Yeah, and there was a lot of mention of Lil Woody again in today's trial, and obviously Jeffrey. Jeffrey will be mentioned in all these proceedings.
Instagram is this?
That's the Instagram account
Or
of
maybe my
Jimmy Young
number's off,
Arlington.
because I for
And
sure thought that that was the music
What are you
video.
screen grabbing?
In any event,
His
let's
story.
go. We might as well just go into Doug, because I cannot get these timestamps right. Hold on. Yeah, so this was the break. I think this was around 10:06. Was this? Hold on. Because I think if this is the right spot, I believe before the jury. Yeah, this is it. That man is stressed out. Okay, because obviously the state's evidence is still kind of shaky, but at least earlier this morning you could hear some evidence that tied SB to these charges. So that was the one thing I noticed. I noticed that this man was stressed out. He's out there thinking about his liberty, okay? But he's in good hands because look at Shard. All right, let me find the right timestamp. Hold on. I know I do a whole lot of talking. Right, and then we go. I'm just looking at my notes, and then we have the recording of SB talking about concealing phones. He did not want Tyesha to have possession of the phone or access to the phones, and then grandmother, Granny Betty being down, Granny being down. So Granny took possession of these. Granny took possessions of SB's phones, and when eventually they were seized by the authorities, then she had to, tell her grandson and everything. Yeah, but Granny is something else. Granny is something else. All right. And then let's see, they talked about Viverito owning 4 Glocks. She Viverito did not. I know she played a dual role, but I do not even see her expertise. Like, I did not notice her expertise because most of the times her responses were like, I believe. She did not have a strong conviction in her responses. Let's see. All right, and then we have Polka. Who was she talking to? Garlington, talking about poor little Tink Tink. It was just a mess. This was for sure a mess. Let's see. Okay, I have an opinion on what is this? I have an opinion on a reversal on if convicted, but we'll get into that. Yeah, and then I don't know. There's obviously a lot that SB said on these recorded lines, and there's an exception. The exception to bring these in is an opposing party's statements. Okay, so he has said a lot of things that contradict what uh, the I don't even want to call, I don't know what to call Woody and all the other people that were claiming that YSL is not a gang. I don't know what to call those people. I don't know if I should call them co-conspirators because they said it's not a gang. I don't know. In any event, but a lot of his phone calls contradicted what his, I guess, friends, associates said on the stand, especially when it came to basic definitions such as an op. A lot of them were claiming that an op is not what a lay person would understand it to mean. And then we have more music. Let's see. I like that Red Light song though. It's probably, I don't know. I thought it was a good song. That was around 152, but we're not going to get into that. Let's find Let's find Weinstein so that we can have a meaningful discussion within this time. And then, Ellie, I'm going to share that link, and whoever wants to join can share that. I'm just quickly going to read Jerome's messages. So, Jerome says phone records never said we did it. They don't. That's the thing with a lot of people that get convicted, they get, even when they're jury instructions, I expect there to be an instruction distinguishing direct evidence from circumstantial evidence. Um, Defense attorneys during closing arguments tend to want to discredit um, the strength of circumstantial evidence, but a lot of cases are solved through circumstantial evidence. The jury basically has to draw inferences based on what it is that the state has presented. So I'm not, from a prosecution standpoint, I'm not even really worried about that because it's rare that somebody would come out and say that I have done this. And there's a what would I call it? It's not really a story. It is a make believe story. If any of you kept up with the other case out of Georgia, what was that woman's name? Melody Ferris. The prosecutor in that case, I don't know her name, I don't remember her name, but there's a female prosecutor. During her closing argument, she came up with this story of um, what did this woman say? She said something along the lines of if she left cookies in her kitchen and she goes out of the kitchen or she leaves the kitchen, and when she returns, the cookies have disappeared, but her dog or her kid have crumbs and things of that nature. She was basically explaining that you don't necessarily have to see somebody do something in order to come to the conclusion that they have, in fact, engaged in the conduct that they are accused of. And in this instance, you also do not have to exactly hear the precise words of somebody saying, oh, we did this or we did that, in order for you to come to the conclusion that they have engaged in the conduct that they did. Let me see if I've written that down. But I thought just listening to SB's phone calls, there, I believe there was enough there to not necessarily convict, but there's enough there for the defense to have to put on either a case, or there was enough substance to what he was saying for the court to not grant a directed verdict. Let me see. What is Jerome saying? Which is another game or gang took responsibility. The state is so stupid. Oh, you meant gang. That said that they did it. We'll still have to see, but let's focus on. I want to focus on what's the guy's name. What's this? Oh, this is when they're going over the guns. That's probably the one charge that I am most worried about. The convicted felon in possession of. Let me just play that. I think these texts. Hold on. I think these were the communications between what's her name, Polka? Tyesha. Hold on. Let's play. Then
What comes to mind
we'll look
immediately
at
with
that time.
Enclave is
Let's
really this
play that.
effortless beauty.
There's a multitude of different.
Let's play that, and then we're gonna get in here,
VV
and then I'm gonna share the
A2.
stream. I'm sharing the link. Unrelated, but I thought, who's this? Simone's suit looked actually pretty nice today. That was a nice suit she had on. All right, come on. Ellie, I posted the link, just so you know.
Looking at 227 BBA2, and if we're able to zoom in. And is this an excerpt from the iPhone 12 mini?
It is.
Right. I want to just look at the portions that are actually highlighted and bracketed. We're going to start at the top of the page. Do you see a highlight bracket on December? Can you scroll up? On December 24th, 2021 at 9:26:29 p.m.?
I do.
And do you see a message highlighted?
Yes.
Okay. And who is the person sending the message?
That would be Shannon Stillwell.
Okay. And what does the message say?
Save this number, SB.
All right. Now I want to scroll down to January 14th.
And Jerome, do you think they walk or no?
This
What do
highlighted
you,
box.
what do you
See
think?
this highlighted box at January 14th,
And that goes for
2022
everybody else too.
I do.
at 3:32 a.m.
I do.
Okay. And is that the same call that's highlighted in black on the screen behind you?
It is.
And if we can zoom in just a little more.
Oh, and the other thing that Polka, I'd have to find that timestamp. The other thing that Tyesha contradicted was the part about them staying in motels or hotels or whatever it was, and because she during cross-examination when Short cross-examined her, she said that the reason why they were hotel hopping was because of the supposed ambush or whatever it is that she experienced prior to, or that forced her and Shannon to go from hotel room to hotel room. But during these recordings, I just have to find it. During these wiretaps, you can tell clearly that she contradicted herself, and the reason why they were going from hotel to hotel or motel to motel was related to YSL and whatever it is they were doing, and not the ladies that ambushed her.
What does the text say?
If Polka asks, tell her I'm op hunting.
Okay. And what's the date of that text?
July 14th, 2022.
Okay. Do you see January 14th, 2022?
Yes.
All right. All right.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard you loud.
I want to go to the next page of the exhibit, 227 VVA3.
Is this
Do
a
you
conversation
see-
with Coco? No.
A highlighted box on February 9th, 2022.
I do.
And if you can turn to use your laser pointer, do you see that on the screen behind you?
I do. It will be right here.
And if we can try our best to zoom into the first box. And who is sending the message?
Mr. Stillwell.
Okay, and what does it say?
12 hot.
All right. Now I want to scroll down to February 9th, 2022. Do you see a text message?
I do.
And who's that text message from?
Mr. Stillwell,
What does it say?
tell Reek I'm scared to be over here. Police said they blitzing everything on Cleveland behind what Big Brisk did. They locked Slug up yesterday.
And is there a
And Jerome, what do you make of these text messages? So what, if anything, do you make of these?
response to that text message?
The respondent says, I know, I just heard they wanted anything that got tied to YSL.
And then was there a response?
Right.
All right. And on February 9th, 2022, was that the day that Christian Ebinger was arrested for shooting Officer Rogers?
I believe so. Within a day or so. Yes.
Now I want to go to Stacy Exhibit 227 VVA4.
Okay.
Who is the recipient of these text messages?
The recipient of the highlighted text message would be Shannon Stillwell,
Okay. And who is the sender?
Khalif Adams.
And you said Khalif Adams. Do you see Khalif Adams' name on here?
I do not.
Okay. How do you know it's Khalif Adams?
Khalif Adams always also goes by the alias of Bobby Hunt.
And is this the same phone number that you looked at when you investigated the stabbing of Rayshawn Bennett?
It is.
All right. And to start at the top, do you see a text on March 5th, 2022?
I do.
All right. And if you can just go through the text messages on this page until the end of the page with the date and time and the contents of the text.
Sure. Mr. Adams says, call me ASAP, to which Mr. Stillwell responds, what you on? Mr. Adams then says, I'm trying to figure something out. Mr. Stillwell responds, what that twin? Mr. Adams responds, Scar said it was a price for that feature, but racial expletive, ain't seen nothing. Then Buddy done made a counter offer of 100 on my little man's. I got keep paying him. And then Mr. Stillwell responds, you ain't talked to him.
Now, in reviewing that text message, was this of note to you?
It was.
Why?
Because it would fall in line with.
I'm trying to find the messages with Tyesha. I think
Sustained.
Was this, did you have text messages from Mr. Adams' phone number or the Verizon records regarding payment of a feature in his text messages that you
That's a
reviewed
long question.
regarding the Rayshawn Bennett stabbing?
I did.
Okay. And in looking
this
at,
is what I was referring to. At least during today's direct, Simone did very well recovering because every time they objected and the judge sustained, she found a way around it.
those text messages,
Or she laid proper
in these
foundation.
text messages, did you find some commonality between?
Hold on, I'm
what you
trying to
looked at
find
with
the
Verizon records?
Tyesha text messages. I think these are the highlighted. I don't want to go too far.
Almost with like an indentation in the bottom right here.
Right, this was her describing a Glock. I'm like, I don't know anything about guns, but she also sounds like she doesn't know anything about guns.
Which would be consistent with, I would think, a Glock 27.
What do you mean you were in, Jerome?
And why consistent with a Glock 27 versus any other type of Glock?
Wait, are you saying you were in
Based on how the
YSL?
bottom is cut. Typically, they're straight across. Very few are cut like that.
Yeah, I don't want
And outside
this
the Glock
explanation
27,
from.
to your knowledge, are
Okay.
there other Glocks that have that kind of similar cutout?
Not that I can think of offhand.
I don't want to go too far. All right, come on.
Looking at 227 VVA7 and VVA7A, what are we looking at in both of those two exhibits?
This is an example of the phone extraction of the iPhone 12 mini. And you can see to the left here, or if we go down a little bit, you can see it's going to over here. It's going to come from the searches category.
All right, come
And
on.
who is Mr.
Oh,
Jackson
really?
communicating with?
Oh no, Allie's
Tyesha
even here. I'm just not
Alexander,
looking
also
at
known
my
as
screen.
Poker.
I'm sorry, guys. All right, let me add Allie, and then how's it not working? I think it's the same link. Hey, Allie,
Hey,
what's up?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's your opinion? You said that you have a different opinion or you've given this some more thought. What do you think?
So when I went back and watched it, and I don't think Doug's plan was, I don't think he really had a plan.
Okay.
But my opinion of the way he went about it was like when I watched back and really listened to it, it was almost like he was just, when he brought up the picture of Viverito with the watch,
Okay.
it was almost like, oh, but you had the watch in your hand. And I just felt like he was kind of trying to make it so that way he was presenting them as liars essentially, like, oh, but you had this watch in your hand, how can you not know where it was going or where it went? So
Mhm.
like I think his plan of attack in that moment was almost like, if you can't trust them with property, how can you trust them with things that nobody else has seen?
Okay. Okay.
Like, and I don't know if that, and I don't think he really did a good job at defending Yak in that moment. But I think that like he was kind of almost poking holes of like, well, if you're not telling the truth about this, then what else are you not telling the truth about?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's rewatch that moment. Let's do that. Jerome, I'll add you in a bit. Let me just take a screenshot of this timestamp here. Let us rewatch that. One moment. Okay, so let me find it.
And I must say, Shannon's grandma, like she is just, I'm like, they're gonna have her caught up in a conspiracy soon.
Grandma's gangster. They're not gonna catch Granny, not Miss Betty.
No.
Maybe somebody else, not Miss Betty. Man, that woman is gangster. But that's, I mean, it's kind of how parents, grandparents, they're 10 toes down. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh, all right, let's see. Let's see.
No further questions.
Jerome, I'll add you in a bit. I'm just gonna add you now. Let's hear what Jerome has to say. I'm gonna add you now.
And while you're adding him, I just think too with Max, he does a good job at like making everyone like see the people that like especially Shannon is instead of just the crimes that he's committed.
Right.
Because like I know I've worked in Department of Corrections with only youth. So
Okay.
when I've seen Shannon, I just look at this boy who's just lost, who's
Right.
just, you know what I mean? Like I don't see this gangster kind of person,
Right.
but then I'm talking and you're like, oh man, like stop, stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's again, it's the difference, or at least the experience or lack of experience between the attorneys is showing, because we know more about Shannon than we do Yak. And every time, because oh, who's this? What's his name? Shard definitely has a theme. Okay, he's stuck to his theme. One of the themes that I know is it's about SB being a musician. We've heard that over and over again, and he's asked that of every witness that took the stand. And even when he was questioning Viverito this afternoon or evening, depending on how you look at it, he basically asked, instead of us just being left with information about this guy possibly having money or not having money, he asked her about whether he knew anything about SB's job or aspirations or whatever. Whereas when it comes to, yeah, we don't know anything because this man just keeps asking about a watch.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let's play this and then we'll take it from there. I think it's a terrible approach, but we'll see.
I think Yak Gotti's defending himself at this point, and Doug's going up there with whatever he's got paper.
Right, that is a fair assessment. Yeah. All these people owe Shard some money. That's all I know. All right, come on. I think it was who was on the stream earlier. You said that he always appeared nervous.
Good afternoon, Investigator Viverito.
Good afternoon, Mr. Weinstein.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. As you know, I represent Mr. Kendrick.
Yes, I do.
All right. Let me ask you a few questions. Excuse me.
This was just a mess too, like so unorganized.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. I've I've consistently mentioned that the disorder, the chaos, is not strictly. I don't think it's strictly the prosecution's issue. The court is definitely responsible. At least Glanville was. Page has brought some organization to this trial, but I think the defense attorneys are also kind of disorganized.
Permission to approach, Your Honor. I'm going to show you DK 16.
Greg, I'll have
You
to
recognize
figure
the
that out.
individual in that picture?
I do.
All right, I'm adding. Hey, Jerome.
Can you hear me?
Well, go on. Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Hey, what's up? Good to hear from you. Um,
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
it's a lot of thoughts, but I'm listening to you guys. But I'll keep it short, and then I'll listen, and we'll keep going. Is that um the evidence is weak,
Okay.
and truthfully, with Yak, they definitely have nothing but speculation because
Okay.
they went from saying that he was the one that was. They went from Woody to Yak,
Yeah.
saying that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then like with Shannon, he must be a really smooth criminal because the streets don't really talk like that. They
Mhm.
talk too much to themselves, but they don't really say much, but they have no proof. They're trying to use them to use their words against them, but they're not really saying anything. Yes,
Okay.
they do stupid stuff, but talking too much and stuff, but they really didn't implicate themselves, really.
What do you mean by really? You have to be very
Because we're
clear.
going back to 2015 when they were really young. You know,
Okay.
if they really killed Nut, I think that would have came out. I think that they were as stupid as they are on these phones. I think that they would have implicated themselves a long time. You're talking 2015 from Nut because you know that this is what this case is about.
Right.
It's Nut. So, everything else other than Nut, it seems like they just, I don't know why in 2022, I think that was what Mr. Williams thought,
Mhm.
that they just got so, because they not talking about the land that Thug has in Atlanta. I don't know if they tried to mess with the land that he bought because he bought a lot of properties in Atlanta, a lot,
Okay.
and they stole his watches and stuff like that.
Oh, you think they stole the watch?
They did. Yeah, I know they did. They
Oh,
did.
yeah?
I know they did. It just makes sense. Who was gonna steal from that? And then they're gonna lose. What they said, they left some property behind when they left. That was just a money grab from the police. That's what I believe. They
Okay.
was watching him for a long time, and they wanted him. I would like to know about the land, though. The land that
But
he
that
had
is not
bought.
relevant. Why would you want to know about this? Or why would you want
Just
to know
just
about this?
just if that was relevance of the crooked Fulton County trying to get a money grab. They said that the cars and stuff that they seized, they said police people was driving them around. I'm from South Carolina, and when you have drug bust, you know that the police, they take your car
Yeah,
and
they
they'll take the
forfeit.
cars they seize and they will actually use those same cars to do drug busts again and stuff like that. So it's just crooked. But I'm gonna shut up and let y'all go.
No, you can keep talking if you have more. We're just gonna rewatch this cross examination, and then we'll have more commentary.
Yes,
Like to
ma'am.
admit DK 16
All right.
into evidence.
That man called me mad. All right, come on.
Permission to publish. In Exhibit DK 16, who do you see?
Dwayne Carter.
And Dwayne Carter is also known as Little Wayne, right?
Terrible tattoo.
Yeah.
Not,
Okay.
not that I'm seeing it. Where's the ESPN?
All of
It's
them
right there at the bottom.
artwork that they photographed.
Where? Here?
Yeah, it's on the bottom right there.
Oh no, that's a terrible tattoo. He needs to get his money back. That is a bad tattoo.
Okay. In the image that is on the right side of the two photographs,
Yes,
you see his arm there, correct?
I do.
Do you see ESPN on his arm?
I do.
Oh, I see it now.
And
Because I
what-
think I was looking at it from top to bottom, but that's not actually. Oh, I see it now. Never mind. Yeah, I see it. All right.
do you maintain that the ESPN, or do you know what the ESPN on his arm stands for?
On him, since he's not a member of YSL, I couldn't tell you what that stands for.
But he is not a member of YSL, as you correct?
Correct.
And yet he has ESPN on his arm.
Correct. Like I could have a star.
Okay, so I have a problem with that line of questioning. And so he asks about the tattoo. She says, whatever it is she says that he's not a member of YSL, so she cannot speak to what this tattoo could possibly mean. And then he goes on to repeat, he's not a member of YSL, so tell me what the tattoo means. So that's why I know I'm very critical of Doug, but he's not good.
Bloods could have a star. Different tattoos mean different things to different people.
So the ESPN on his arm could mean ESPN, the sports network, correct?
As not as
He is a terrible cross-examiner. I actually had missed this during the initial live. Here's the thing. He is obviously trying to show that Wayne is not part of the YSL, I don't even know what to call it, gang, affiliation, blood brothers, I don't know what it is. But the way that he cross-examines, he's not drawing Viverito to his side. And that's what you're supposed to be doing that's how you're supposed to be doing cross-examination.
as not being a member of YSL. Yes.
So if you're a member of YSL and you have ESPN on your arm, are you saying the only thing it could possibly mean is
No, it's being argumentative.
your interpretation of ESPN?
That's what I've seen it mean thus far with members of YSL.
And that's
You can see that that the Viverito, the expert, the investigator, she's not backing down.
the only thing you believe it could mean.
As far as members of YSL, yes.
So the fact that my client was a football star at Grady. Okay. Do you know if my client played football at Grady?
I do.
See, again, the man is terrible at cross-examination. The first rule of cross-examination, you don't ask questions that a witness does not know. Because if you're asking questions that they don't know, this is how you end up with the mess that Doug is basically dealing with. You have to ask very, very obvious questions, things that they're going to say yes, no to, and then you get the response that you're looking for.
You know?
Do you know my client got a scholarship to University of Georgia as a football player? I'm asking if she knows it.
Sustained. You can ask if she knows whether it's
Okay,
true
yes.
or not.
No.
Do you know
Oh, wait.
if my
Did Shannon write that note? Am I making that up?
I think Mr. Kokomo wrote it.
Oh, really? Let's go.
Or Mr. Botts maybe over there beside Shannon.
All right, let's take a look because I saw him with a legal pad.
Hey, Allie.
Hey.
Allie,
How's-
let's see.
I think Doug's just trying to put, like, because I know Yak has ESPN tattooed on his somewhere on him. I think he's just trying to, like, if he did play football and all that, then he's just trying to put those two together and take him, like, distance him away from what she's saying it's meaning in their gang terms.
That would work if she agreed with him. She's not agreeing with him. Oh, so
I mean, because she didn't know. I didn't know that until now.
right. Greg is saying that Weinstein has lost his last 5 to 6 cases. I am not surprised. I'm gonna look those up. I let's see. So Greg is also saying that Yak wrote the note and Weinstein ignored the note. So he probably should have read the note.
Greg should call in. I know Greg from other platforms.
Oh,
He should
really?
call in. Yeah, Greg knows me from other platforms.
A lot of you people actually know each other. That's nice. That's exciting. Let's
Okay.
let's
In
see
the
what.
image that is on the right side of the two photographs,
Yes,
you see his arm there, correct?
I do.
Do you see ESPN on his arm?
I do.
No, I went back
And
too far. I just
what do you maintain
wrote
that
the note.
I do now.
do you know
See,
my client
Yak
got a scholarship to,
himself.
What's that?
Yak is representing himself. He's writing down the notes for the lawyer.
Right. I mean, clients do that. Clients do actually do it. Sometimes it's useful, other times not so much.
But you just see him so involved with it. Like you always see him talking to Doug, and like compared to Shannon just kind of sits there quietly.
And he's stressed out.
I
Oh
think
man, he's stressed out. But I think Shannon has the best attorney out of all these people in this courtroom.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, so he does not. His lawyer is doing the work. Okay, he does not have to do much.
One thing Max does not do is play about Shannon.
Right,
Anytime
right,
the name
right,
comes up, he's on top of it.
right. Yeah, he definitely he protects his client.
Mhm.
And I agree with what y'all said earlier.
What?
Max, he helped the whole case.
Yeah, for
Everybody,
sure,
everybody.
for
Him,
sure, for
him and
sure.
Steele was going back and forth. Him and Steele, but I'm gonna shut up.
No, you can keep talking. You don't have to limit uh your contributions. All right, I'm gonna play again.
University of Georgia as a football player.
He's out here looking like a proud father.
I'm asking if she knows it.
Sustained. You can ask if she knows whether it's
Actually,
true or
that
not.
is
Do
from
you know
Yak.
if my client got a scholarship to the University
I've
of
heard
Georgia?
that.
You've heard that. Okay. And so would you find it surprising that someone that got
Kokomo
a
is
football
smart too.
scholarship?
Oh yeah,
He is very smart because
I don't know
Kokomo,
much about him.
he's good with they you see how I think he was with Steele, if I'm not mistaken. And
Mhm.
as the trial went on, they kept him on
I
Kokomo
think he's.
because
Oh, sorry. I think he's Max Shard's legal assistant.
yeah, but he was using him though. Steele was
Oh yeah,
using
I
him.
think
I
they
know he got a bag from Steele. I know he got
Yeah,
a bag. He
I
got
don't
a
know much
bag.
about him.
Yeah, but he was very good at the beginning because
Okay.
if you remember the videos, Kokomo was doing more videos because Miss Knight on the prosecution side, she was doing. But if you remember, Kokomo was doing all of the videos before Miss Knight.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do remember his name mentioned a lot, but I was not taking notes at the time. So
All right.
yeah. All right,
The
let's see.
University of Georgia might like ESPN, the network.
I mean, they could like it, but I don't know if you. I'm sure he likes other TV channels also that aren't tattooed on him.
So if it's
Everyone's favorite.
tattooed on you, it must mean ESPN that you're a member of YSL. You just said that Dwayne Carter has ESPN on his arm, but he's not a member of YSL.
Sustained.
You just said that ESPN on Lil Wayne is not a YSL insignia, correct?
Correct. Like I could say, you can see a college sorority girl with a star tattoo on her, right? And then you can go down to the prison and see members of blood gangs with 5-point stars tattooed on them. It's going to have, we look at everything on an individual basis. So I can't make that
Starts
determination.
writing.
When it comes to YSL members, when you see ESPN associated with a YSL member, I have not seen it mean of anything other than every slime play nasty.
And you said you could see a sorority girl with a star on her, correct?
Correct.
And you could see a University of Georgia football player with ESPN on their arm too, correct?
Correct, but they're both not members of a blood gang or YSL.
Okay.
So remain on task.
Mr. Kokomo, can I get you to come up? May I approach again, Your Honor?
May.
I feel like I understand what Doug is trying to do, but I just don't think he's executing it very well.
Yeah,
Right.
so not very effective.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, Jasmine. What's up?
I agree with what you said earlier that he didn't really prepare and he's winging it because he's actually seems like he is.
Yeah, I don't think this man has prepared a day in his life. He needs to, I don't know. I personally think Doug should stay away from criminal cases.
Right.
And it's just, I hate that I get so passionate. But when somebody's life is at liberty, I make the distinction obviously because I'm going to keep saying there's a difference between factual truth, substantive truth. So in this case, he's not helping his client, not one way or the other.
Oh,
And
it is. Is this the Jasmine Kayla's cousin?
yeah, this is Kayla's cousin.
Oh, okay. What's up, Jasmine?
Yeah, Jasmine, she abandoned us last night, but that's probably because we kept her up late on Saturday, so I don't blame
Well,
her.
she's cool. I like her.
Yeah, I like Jasmine.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. We're just hanging out. So you're not interrupting anything.
I feel like also Doug was like expecting like how she answered the state with yes and no question, like just a yes or no answer, but she became very like almost defensive and very wordy with the defense.
I
Wasn't
think
yes and no, and you saw it especially with Max Shard. Like she got
right,
very. This is a slippery slope.
right. So what I'd say is that I think Doug definitely could have taken a better. I mean, the Viverito is just combative, so she does a lot of talking. But I think what Shard and Weinstein could have done a little better is they should have. I think that they should have objected more during direct, because during direct, Simone was pretty much just testifying and leading the witness, which is not the proper approach for direct. During direct, under no circumstances should your witness answer yes or no. That is improper. It's leading because if somebody's going to answer yes or no, that's because the question assumes the answer. That is not the proper way of conducting direct examination. So they should have had they should have objected more so that would have flustered Simone, and that would have been a great approach, because other than that, the witness was pretty much agreeing with what Simone was saying, and that's improper for direct testimony or direct evidence. So yeah, she may have agreed, but she was not supposed to be agreeing. She was supposed to be the one that's actually testifying. So let me think of an example. I don't think I've written everything down here, but I did have time stamps. Let me see. I even have around 1:10 p.m. I said that she was leading. Um, let me give an example. Let me think of an example from this case. Let's see. It would be something around, let's say, the phones and the Granny Betty, the gangster one. Uh, I almost said Betty. Simone would be asking her a question such as, um, when you went to Shannon's grandmother's house or whatever, did you have a warrant? And obviously, Viverito is going to say yes or no. That is improper. That's leading. The types of questions she should be asking is, okay, let's say maybe prior to that, she testified that she got a warrant. The question should be, what if anything did you do? You cannot say, did you go to the granny's house or whatever, because that's leading. I hope I didn't confuse you. That's how
Because
you
it should be yes or no more when the defense is asking questions, should it not?
correct. So during cross examination, yes, no, appropriate. That's exactly what you want. But during direct, it shouldn't be yes or no unless it's a foundational question. And that's really just in the beginning. So, because even during direct, it's never appropriate to ask direct or leading questions, Because even when they ask them what they do for a living, they literally ask them, "What do you do?" They don't say, "Oh,
Hmm.
you are an investigator for the DA's office and you've done this for X number of years," because that would be improper.
So how real quick? She said she took one class
Yeah.
on on the lyrics and stuff like that. One class, but she's an expert. What do you think about
Right. Right. I don't think she's qualified, and that's why I kept saying she's not. She's not an expert. Maybe in
But she's
Georgia.
apparently an expert in a lot of things and everything. But like, even when I feel like the state was asking her questions, she was very, like, you could hear in her voice, she was unsure if she was like
Right.
saying the correct thing. So I don't know how she's an expert when she sounds like she doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, Max said there's no reports, and she was like, well, I wrote it on a piece of paper. So
Right.
piece of paper?
and he's not letting those reports or that tinted window, he's not letting it go. But I was just like, how disorganized. Like, so how can you be up here testifying as an
Word.
expert when you have nothing written down? You're just hoping whatever went into discovery was good enough.
Right. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Max did object to her being
He did.
he did, right, to her
Yeah.
qualifications, because that
Yeah.
woman is not, no. She's not qualified to be an expert. So yeah. But I also thought that when she was answering, she did not answer with conviction. She always said, "I believe." It's okay, this is how it is, or whatever. But she's like, she just seemed unsure. A lot of uncertainty. Oh, come on, should I forward? Right. Oh, here we go.
Mr. Kochen was going to show you a video.
We're gonna
of
get
when
into the watch. I believe, Jerome, this is your favorite part. You and this
Mm,
watch.
yeah.
Because okay, I'll reserve my commentary until we see
Nice,
this.
that video.
Okay.
What is this? The still from the video?
Then you have to go to the police officer that was allegedly had the watch on the stand.
I know that. Oh man, this is.
I heard conspiracy that Tyrone Dennis had it.
Oh really?
Oh, I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. He's a groupie weirdo. He just seems like he would take mementos. Yeah, he just seems like that type of
Took
guy.
it and gave it to Gaither just for all her trouble on the stand.
Right. Gaither
Yeah.
and Dennis, man, that's why they got out of there, and they got awards and stuff for them to get out of there,
Right.
man. That was something crazy. I don't know, something with that.
Yeah, this trial is pretty wild. Jasmine, I'm sorry you had a headache. It's probably from all those shots you were taking. Do you want to call in? Jasmine does a lot of talking though, but you can certainly call. You can
Let
call in. I'll
Jasmine
add
call
you.
in. Let her call in.
Yeah, I'll add you to the call. And then Jasmine says she should have asked. Right, open-ended questions. That's true. So let's get to this watch though. For some reason, this guy's so predictable. I knew he was gonna ask about that watch. I just knew it.
And look at the thing. When you saw how it was like two watches, and then it was like one watch to the left, and then it was like something was missing to the right. That wasn't a good look either. If you
I'll
look
take a
at it.
look, because when I was reacting to this earlier, I was actually working, so I was not really
Okay.
looking at the screen. I was just listening to the dialogue. So I'll definitely take a look. Now you're turning me into a conspiracy theorist. I love it. All right, let's get into it.
But I mean, too, this almost caused the mistrial when Doug asked, what did he ask? Or she said something, oh, I'm following it on Twitter because my name's all over it. But you guys have been clearly told you can't be following the case. So whether your name's out there or not, I mean, your name's been out there since the video of Woody was leaked. Like,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. But now you're following it on Twitter. So what else? Like, she just really was very, I don't know. She just drove me crazy. And then her slippery slope, I was like, what is
Right.
she doing?
Right, but this case, there's no way an appeal is not going to be successful.
No, I just don't think that either of these boys are just walking out there with nothing.
Except for Tom Serve.
Maybe time served, I guess, yes. But I don't think they're walking out with no
Oh, definitely
No
not. But
guilties.
the guns. I think it's just going to be the
Yeah, those
guns.
guns.
I don't think on the unaliving they really have anything. I mean, Simone Hill
No,
said we can never be 100% sure,
Right,
no, ma'am. She
but
said it herself.
I think yeah,
right.
I think the guns and the in possession of a felon, like there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm,
But there's
no.
also something called jury nullification. It is
Mhm.
very rare, but it does happen for defendants that do get lucky. So,
Do you
uh,
think? Do you think that even though they lost this case and everybody has got banished from this case, and they got these two right here, do you think that they're setting them up for the feds to pick it up, just
oh,
for
they
them?
might. They might, for sure. They might.
But I just feel like the feds would have picked it up be like a while ago. Like this case has been unindicted for so long, and they said that the district attorney before didn't want to indict it because their key witnesses is a self-proclaimed liar. So I just
That's
feel like
actually
the
If
fact.
they
feds.
if they if they was to pick them up, say the feds came and they picked up Kendrick and Shannon,
Hmm.
could the feds actually recall the witnesses of that got off of this case? Can the feds use Shannon and Kendrick to actually the feds recall them even though they're in, like Thug? Can they make Thug come testify?
As long as he's not a co-defendant, because defendants have a privilege against self-incrimination, so they
Okay.
cannot make them testify unless they were granted use immunity, which I don't know. They should have given that to Obama. I really think he could have used it. If they gave Obama what is this immunity, that man would have sang. He would have
Oh,
told us everything. But to to
He
answer
he
your
was
question,
shaking like
bro,
he's scared of the feds. He was shaking like a leaf.
I know that man. He
He
drank
must know
water.
something.
He
he
drank
he
water
is
and everything.
he saw what happened to him when they pulled what's his name,
Punctum?
Antonio Pledges, and put him in prison for five
Yeah,
years. He's like, no. But
right,
it's also sad. It's also sad that they have that much leverage over someone that they're like
Yeah.
literally gonna have a nervous breakdown on the stand.
right,
Right.
right, right. But to answer Jerome's initial question, right? So the federal government is a separate entity from the state. Okay. So at any given moment, a person can, in fact, be charged by both the federal and the state. I'm always giving examples, but I'll give an example to illustrate this. So in my jurisdiction, there's an old case. This is before I moved because in this state, I've only been here for a little over a year. In any event, so before I came here, I don't even know how to explain this. There were a bunch of cases that were not trying to complicate this. Hold on, let me simplify this in my head because I don't want to give you too much information. Like, Riley, that's not, that's not what I asked you. Hold on. Okay, here's an example. There's a defendant. Okay, she was charged at the state level. It's actually a really crazy story. She drove from an adjacent city somewhere in the East Coast. Okay, she drove from an adjacent city with a firearm. And then she was being trained. She met up with some firearm instructor in order for she met up with a firearm instructor. But while she was here, she actually lived in some type of rehab facility or something along those lines. Something along those lines. I'm not even going to get into the details of that, but she met up with a firearms instructor. The first time they met up, everything went okay. The second time, this firearms instructor had to pick her up from a train station because she had no transportation. The wife was out making dinner or something. They were in the country, and sure enough, she ended up shooting the firearms instructor, but luckily he did not he survived. Okay. And then at the state level, her charges were thrown out because the DA was of the impression that she could not stand trial because she was not mentally well. That's what they were claiming. Okay. But the feds picked this case up, and sure enough, she got convicted and she's in prison right now. So the state, federal, two completely different entities, jurisdictions. So they can pretty much do whatever it is that they want to do. They can decide whether to pick it up or not. But I know that in Philly, there used to be an arrangement between the state and the feds for the state not to pick a case up if the federal government has already decided to, you know, prosecute the case. The thing is whether the feds in this case will actually do anything with these charges. That's up for debate because typically, typically the how do I say it? At the state level, what you'll see with most state offices or prosecutors' offices, they usually first arrest. After they arrest, that's when they do the investigation. And it's obvious in this case because this is where you have all the wiretaps and things after the fact, the recordings from jail and things of that nature. And they are basically, if we go back to some of the testimony today, they went to SB's grandmother's house to retrieve his cell phones. That's not how they do it at the federal level. At the federal level, they investigate, and then the very last thing they do is arrest. So, a federal level, they usually have a pretty high conviction rate, and that's because their cases are, or their investigations are usually very solid, which is obviously not what we're having here. So because this case is so messy, I I highly doubt the feds would pick this up because they they have a reputation for getting convictions. I think their conviction rate is 97% or 96% or something along those lines. And in order for them to be able to maintain that record, they're not gonna they're not gonna take on something that's this messy because it's obviously going to mess with their statistics.
And I think I heard prior that the feds had a chance to indict this, but they chose not to because when Woody was in the feds were actually interviewing him and things like that, and they just
I saw that.
and it's because their RICO guidelines are a lot stricter to the states.
Yep. And then the thing that saved them from the feds, I think, in my opinion, is that there was no paperwork and sloppy police reports and all
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. The whole thing is a mess. I'm gonna stand by my opinion that Funny definitely overcharged. I don't
Big time.
think, yeah, they should not have brought all these charges. They were trying. I mean, she was also getting ready for re-election. So,
Do you know if YFN or YSL got indicted first?
no, I actually don't know that.
I think I might be wrong. I think it was YFN.
Was it?
I'm not 100% sure though.
I'm trying to go by what Vivarito said. We cannot go by what she says, but I'm trying
They have favoritism for YFN for some reason.
Oh, really?
Heck yeah.
Why do you think so?
I don't know. Maybe because his mother got shot in the butt. I don't know.
My goodness.
And
I should
then
not be laughing at
nut. I mean, it's just like it seems like after all of that happened, that's when they was like, okay, because the people in Atlanta was complaining of all of the guns. I mean, all of the wars that they was having. So they had to pick and choose. And I just believe that Fannie just chose to go after YSL because there's another investigation we need to do as well and do our footwork of all these other gangs that was doing just as much as them. YFN and YSL was just two, but
right.
Like I said, the henchmen they got a bunch on the College Park side. They like there's a bunch that was doing. They were awful as well. We have to do our investigation of why did they just go after them when they should have just did a collective thing, if they was really going to do a RICO of everything. And this is just, it seems like it's personal, because Fanny told Nut's mother that she's going to get justice and all of that, and that's on record. I mean, that it just and then look at Fanny. She
Her name is
represented
funny. Stop calling
Thug's
it that.
brother. She represented Thug's brother. Her name is Dirt. Before she became she was a private lawyer, and that should be conflict of interest, that she represented Thug's brother.
No, that is, I highly doubt any court would think that that's a conflict. And I'm going to give you an even crazier example.
She was
I once,
Mondo's lawyer right before she indicted.
who's that?
Right.
Fonnie Willis was YSL Mondo, so he proclaimed to be one of the founders of YSL.
And then he got immunity.
And then she didn't indict him on the thing, but everyone was saying, well, he was a founder of YSL. Why is he not on the indictment?
Exactly.
But
I'll look into that one. That one might, I don't know. The
that's
thing
true.
is,
That's facts.
no. I'm talking about whether it would meet the standard for a conflict or not. Because I know during one of my my jurisdictions when I was a public defender, I once represented a defendant, and the presiding officer used to represent him in the past. So he knew a lot about this client.
Bonnie she's got a lot of baggage. Like the DJ that was living with her and all of that, he was gang. I mean, before she became that, she got a lot of street stuff that she was dealing with, the street dudes. That the DJ, check that out. The DJ that, even remember when they had the investigation where her and Wade, you know.
Yeah, I'm talking about that next week.
Yeah, and the daddy even said that he got mad because she had the DJ in there because she was staying over there because he's from Cali. You know, Fonnie is from Cali. But her daddy came and he was mad because the same DJ that they don't talk about, which Fanny just swept under the rug, he was gang too. The DJ, you know, and they don't talk about that. When
I
she
know
was
we
a
need
private
Jasmine to
lawyer.
come in here because Jasmine is from over there, so she'd know a lot more
Oh yeah, she'll know.
about what's
Yeah,
happening.
Jasmine know.
And so,
What's
like, my
that?
thing, when they indicted YFN, though, like, did they all just take plea deals? Because I know Lucci did, but like the rest of them, because I know Bloody J was on that indictment, which I thought he was IF. Anyways, I don't know. They all seem to be a hybrid gang, but like, did YFN just all take plea deals, or was it as messy as this one?
I don't think they had a trial. We would have known about it.
I don't. That's a good question
Because I
because
know Lucci.
you don't hear nothing about the levels of YF, you know, of their thing. Even though they say, which we saw today, she said that they are not like the mafia of New York and
Oh yeah,
stuff
there's
like
no
that,
leader.
to where everybody has a role. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right. So what is where's the ring? That was the dumbest thing that she could have said. They don't have no structure.
Yeah.
And I think Max did a good job at that, like pulling out, like, well, and then there's this hybrid gang, but I've never heard, like, I know there's controversy about like Duke because he's part of the Rolling 60s, but I've never heard of a hybrid gang where it's like, you know, Crips and Blood. So I'm confused as to how this whole RICO even
came about, because
makes sense.
it's all about just word of mouth, which is what we seen every day when we was watching this trial from day one. It was all word of mouth, and then the people that was running their mouth wasn't even in position. They were just little guys that they were broke. What the heck, man? Of course, broke people are gonna talk. That's how it works on the streets anywhere. If you don't know what's going on, you're gonna make it up and just say, "I claim this, I claim that."
You're gonna pull a
But
Woody.
What's that?
just when you said about claiming this and claiming that, I said you're just gonna pull a Woody because he just claimed a lot of things about Thug and that and just put the blame on them.
Yeah, but Woody was kind of smart with that because he was here, he was everywhere. Woody was everywhere. So he would be the perfect person to actually like with the something deep or whatever. He was like Woody was like I would consider Woody like a type of person that everybody just liked. And he ain't never really claimed nothing. They just liked him because he was a stand-up guy when it came to stuff, but he ain't never claimed nothing.
I thought he claimed YSL though. No?
I don't
I
even know about that
30 he
part.
claimed 30 deep though.
Oh, that
30
is
deep.
true. That's
30
exactly what
deep.
he said on the
But
stand.
Yep.
I think Shannon was also 30 deep too.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that he's
Hey, you know the question? I got a good question for you.
What?
Where is Shannon from?
What do you mean in terms of where in the city?
Yes.
I
Uh,
I I heard
Is
not
he from Cleveland?
Avenue. He just frequented there a lot.
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's what I remember as well.
Thank you.
What do you mean?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I'm just saying
Oh,
they putting everything on him, but he's like a poker. He's like he's like Woody. Him and Woody are the same. And I truthfully believe that I think Shannon and Woody was like trying to they was in battle to get next to Jeffrey. You know what I mean? I don't think that Woody really liked Shannon. I don't think Shannon really
mm,
liked Woody because I think they was in competition to try to be in a
mm,
certain position.
But I
yeah.
think that Shannon met Thug through Woody because Shannon and Woody went to high school together and they were good friends.
Prove that.
Yeah, but
I've never seen a picture with Shannon and Woody together.
I don't know. I don't have Instagram. Otherwise, I'd go
I think
digging.
they're just this just messy.
I've never seen a picture with Woody and Shannon together.
I
And
think
I've
they're
been watching this trial from day one.
I,
but
I still think that the folks that should have, I don't know, they should not have brought the Rico. Let's just put it there. That they should
Well,
have
they
brought
wasn't a video together, but not pictures. Pictures and videos are two different things. I'll just clean that up.
no, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, because if you're friends, you'll take pictures. If you're in a group among people, you'll take videos because you're there. But if you take pictures, that's more,
What,
more.
more intimate?
Yeah. Thank you for the word. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get into Doug. Let's get into Doug because I want to see. I want to
Can
be
I
part of
stop
this
for a second?
conspiracy.
Is that going to show my face on camera?
No, we're not gonna.
Okay, I just
I'm
want
not
to
gonna.
make.
I'm not.
I
Gonna,
just want to make sure.
I'm not gonna show.
Okay. Yes,
I
absolutely.
think closing. Today's what, Monday?
Hmm.
I think closing might be ripe on Wednesday or Thursday.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they'll have a
How?
verdict by the end of next week.
I believe that too. That's where I'm
You
at.
think what?
They'll have a verdict on this by the end of next week. I think it'll be all
Next
wrapped
week.
up.
Yes,
Okay,
I agree.
if that happens, then it's majority not guilty, because usually, from my experience, the from my experience, if a jury does not take a lot of time to deliberate, that's because they already had their minds made up. But if they're
Hmm.
actually going to grapple with the evidence, especially considering that it's 54 count. I don't know why they charge so many, but considering that it's 54 counts and they'd have to go through each and every element, then it might take them longer. But
Is
then
it still 54 counts with just these two left?
Because I think at the end they were saying that they're only pulling up or bringing up even to the jury
12.
just what these two, the rest of them that took plea deals, they're taking
Yeah.
it.
I think it's 12
I know for Yak it's 14
or
because I
14.
looked it
Okay.
up earlier today. I don't know why I looked it up, but I did. But I did not look up Stillwell. Hold on, Stillwell. I'm gonna let this play while I look this up.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Shit.
you recognize that video?
I do.
I'm not going to publish this video, but I'd like to introduce DK15 into evidence.
Okay. It's admitted.
Okay, now I'm going to show you a still from the video.
Sure.
Okay, do you recognize that?
I do.
And do you recognize the individual in that?
That is me. I do.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
I am going to introduce DK15A. And it's redacted.
No objection.
Okay.
All right, and that's a still from the video.
Yes, it's
Submitted.
DK15A. It's a still from the video, and it's been redacted to remove the image of Investigator Viverito.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
submitted.
Would you please publish DK15A? Okay. Who is in this still image from DK15?
So what's supposed to be
Okay.
missing, Jerome? What's supposed to be missing in this still?
Well, just the thing you see is there's like two slots there.
Oh, you mean the
Two
slots?
more watches could be in there. Yeah. Why would you have
No.
one watch?
Jerome,
One
that's a
watch
stretch.
and one thing. Come
Jerome,
on.
that's a stretch. Okay,
I'm
let's
just
see.
You
saying,
recall
it
when
looks
this was
like it.
taken?
It looks like it.
Oh, yeah?
And then
All
she
right.
didn't have a body cam. She shouldn't have been in there. Everybody's got body cams. She ain't got no body cams. But she said, always, I had a video on me almost all the
Right,
the
it's.
time.
I mean, she did say almost, not all the time.
Get out of here.
Not all the time, just sometimes.
Yeah, almost. Get
Yeah.
out of here.
All right, let's see.
Taken.
That was on March 9th of 2020. I'm sorry, May 9th of 2022
And where was it taken?
at 355 Allison Drive, Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30342.
And whose home was that at the time?
The home of Jeffrey Williams.
And where in
She
the
even
home
knows
are
the
you?
Should
postal
be the
code,
master bedroom.
She knows what?
the man's zip code when she just gave that address.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
She's an expert, okay? She's an expert, so she would know that.
Bedroom closet leading to the bathroom.
And in the video that you watched, which I'm not publishing again because it has your image on it.
Correct.
What are you doing at that point in the video?
We're inventorying the jewelry and items that are in the home.
Okay. And is this image that is taken that's part of your inventorying procedure in the home? Is that correct?
It's a documentation procedure, yes.
Okay. And do you recognize what you're holding in your hand in this still image?
I do.
And what are you holding in your hand?
A watch of some sort.
Okay. Do you know if do you recognize that as a Richard Mille watch?
I guess, yes.
And that's a pink watch, correct?
It's pink and either pink and light pink or pink and white, yes.
It's a pink band, correct?
Correct.
And it has a white ceramic, I'll call it the body of the watch.
White, or, yeah, I guess it's white if you say so, yes.
Okay. After you took this image and you did this inventorying process, where did the watch go?
I just
after-
have a remark to make. And Ellie, this is based on something that you said earlier, as far as Doug is concerned, right? I believe it must have been earlier today. But anyways, I've heard or at least read somewhere today that the reason why Doug did not really the reason why he did not really get into the nitty-gritty while cross-examining is because he believes that there's no evidence there, which it may as well be what it is that his thought process is. But the one thing is that when you are in this position as an attorney, whether you're defense or prosecution, you cannot assume that the jury is going to make the same inferences that you're making. You cannot assume that the evidence is going to be as obvious as it is to them. So that's why I'm disappointed that he did not actually go to bat for his client. He should have really gone in there and done a proper job cross-examining, because assuming that the jury will make the right decision, come to the right verdict, is very dangerous. And based on what I've seen, I would like to think that Doug is kind of bordering close to ineffective assistance of counsel.
He should have talked about the gas station. That's the only thing they have on Yak is the gas station thing. They don't have nothing on him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He should have done something as opposed to focusing on this watch that was found in whose house? Jeffrey's house.
What does
So
the watch got to do anything?
that's what is. But I mean, Ali made a valid point. Ali made a point to the fact that they had a shoddy investigation, or at least this missing watch, and the fact that not everything was,
And pictures on the wall. They wanted pictures on the wall that
who's
they forgot. When she said that, I know the jury was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me."
it'll be so funny. But anyways, that's just what came to mind. It's not enough for Doug to think, oh, okay, it's so obvious that I don't have to bring it out. It is his job to point out what, the obvious evidence is. It's his job to lead the jurors to a specific conclusion.
But he
So,
did a good job. He said, did you see him in there? No. She said, I saw him running. But he said, did you see him in the house? They said no. So they can't put him to anything that's in the house. He came, they rolled up because that was then when they pulled and when the police behind them and they ran. Of course, you go run. I mean, but he was not in the house. He made a good point on that.
yeah, that is a single aspect, though. Yes, that's a single aspect. If your
Because
client
there's so
is
it's so many of them. It's so many of them. That's the only reason why I can say you can't just say this, that, and the other. Because even with the bag that they found and everything, nothing came up with nothing. It was just like, it's like dogs in a pack. I'm from New York. We all stuck together and everything. People got in trouble. I was probably in my bed when somebody was doing crimes.
oh
I
my.
didn't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, but generally there's case law, and this is usually the case. This scenario is usually where drugs are concerned, right? There's a very famous case. I just cannot remember, or I cannot remember the exact name of the case, but it's a federal case whereby a defendant was leaving his residence. Okay, this is his residence. He's the only person that resides there. He was on his way out of his apartment, and then he was obviously stopped. They conducted a search. They found think it was drugs. They may have found weapons. I don't quite remember. But just because he was not in close proximity to whatever it is that they discovered, that was not enough for a conviction. So that was overturned. So that's obviously what he was getting at. But I still think that Doug should have done a
Yeah,
better
you're
job
right.
of
You're right.
representing his client. He's not
You're right.
he did not go to war for his client, and I don't like
You're
that.
right. He should
And
have
I
went
think
further.
especially
I
too
agree.
because Yak is facing so much when they laid it out when they were doing the plea deals and he refused his and she laid out how much time he's looking at if convict. I was like, he's looking at more time than Shannon,
Right. So
and so
he
For
I think
real?
he should really be pushing these things and trying to get it out and separate
right.
Diamante from all of this stuff instead of kind of going around the bush about it.
Yeah, but this
What?
watch.
So how many murders they putting on Yak?
I
Just
think. Go ahead, Allie. I'm sorry.
it was just the Donovan Thomas one.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure the judge said he was looking at a life sentence plus 100 and something years. I think. And Shannon was 2 life sentences plus 80 something years.
Yeah, because he's charged with 2 murder cases.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, let's get back into this watch.
For this.
If you watch the video in its entirety, we're inventorying everything in the closet. There's a bunch of small boxes everywhere. So if you watch the video in its entirety, you take it and the watch is photographed like this, box is closed, it's taken and put up on the shelf in the upper left-hand corner, and the inventorying continues. And then jewelry starts getting packed up and getting ready for the evidence team to come and take it down to property.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Since November the 4th of this year, have you spoken to
This is a bad cross-examination because obviously the answer that Viv gave is not favorable to his client. Because obviously, the reason why he brought up this whole watch thing to me was obviously in line with what Ellie's saying to show that, I mean, to me, he just, this entire time, he's trying to make it seem as if the authorities stole this watch. But when Viv answers and she says that they inventoried everything and they turned the house over to Jeffrey's father, that's not favorable to his client. He should know how to recover from that, because now that's, he basically obliterated his entire argument. And instead of trying to still get Viv to see his point or to admit his point, he just moves on to another question. So that's definitely not good cross examination. So I'll let this play.
The state about this particular watch, the pink watch with the white band that I've been calling the Richard Mill or Richard Milley watch.
To the state, no, but I've seen the like Twitter coverage of it going missing or whatever you want to.
Maybe
Well, no, I mean, there's
That girl is over it. Paige is over it. She's ready. She's ready for Thanksgiving or something. I don't know what she has plans. It's like, no sidebar.
here. They know that it's being live streamed. You just are not supposed to be watching it.
Oh.
And you asked that in the evidence. So
Well,
just keep moving.
I wasn't
Yep.
watching the trial.
And basically, I don't know. There's so many things in here that are going to. Anyways, so what Paige? Here's the thing: when a witness is subpoenaed to testify in a trial, they're typically sequestered. What that means is they're not supposed to have contact with other witnesses in the trial. It's easier when it's not being live streamed. But now, who's this? Paige is saying that Doug is the one that asked this information, so he has to deal with it. But I kind of do not agree with that reasoning. And my reason for disagreeing with her is because what if it had come out that she was actually watching the live stream? Her reasoning for, not agreeing to a sidebar or whatever, or addressing this, cannot be the fact that who's this Doug is the one that asked the question. So I don't know why she thought that, but apparently it's not.
She's an investigator.
Who's
But I
that?
don't think Doug was put like, yes, he was asking about the watch, but he never said anything about Twitter. Like, she's the one who elicited it. Like, I've seen it all over Twitter because my name was in it.
Right.
So
Right.
they're saying she's, some kind of paying attention to social media.
Right. And that's why I'm saying I don't agree with Whitaker's response under these circumstances. So, but then that's also okay. Let's see what Doug
But
is
my
saying.
name.
Don't
and-
worry about it.
Okay.
Just keep moving.
Okay.
Unless you need to approach about something else.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me, and I'd like to know about this.
This man is such. I'm sorry. Last time I'm stopping, but he's a bad. He cannot even recover from. He cannot even recover from that. So, I don't know. Let's see.
Tell me in the whatever coverage you saw, what did you learn about this watch that came up in this trial?
Sustained. Well, yeah, sustained.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after this watch was inventoried and you left it for, I'm sorry, who did you say takes the watch after the inventorying process?
So if you watch the video in its entirety,
Which I can't show here, but go
right?
ahead.
But if you watched it, like I watched it, the watch gets boxed back up and placed up on the shelf, and it gets left there by the team
Why you
as
put it back up?
as an accident. It was
What
left-
did you want them to seize the watch?
Why did they put it on the shelf back? Why
They were,
did they put it
I
back
think
up?
they were supposed to seize the watch because she said that the evidence team came in after to collect all the evidence or the inventory that they had taken.
Is that what she said? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's coming up.
She said people was in the
okay.
parking lot being intimidating. Come on.
All right. Okay. Let's
there.
listen.
The home was then turned over to Mr. Williams Sr. and Mr. Garfield Lamond to take possession of the home.
And is it a normal process when you're taking jewelry from the home or high valued goods that you leave behind a $500,000 watch on a shelf?
First, I don't know the value of it. Second of all, Like
I
I
know
said,
I might be really old school. I don't know what people do with such expensive jewelry, but then again, I don't have a half $500,000, so that's probably why. I don't know. I cannot relate.
there were numerous
Hmm.
jewelry boxes. It was, if you watch the video,
Oh,
everybody in
Jerome, do you have what is this? A half $1,000,000 watch?
I got a fake one.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I mean, Ocho said fake jewelry is the way to go. So
there had on body cameras. I was made sure I was on camera at all times. There's cameras throughout the home. So you would be able to see if one of us removed a watch, the box remained in the closet. And like I said, the home was turned over to Mr. Williams Sr. and Mr. Garfield Lamond, who were the two people on scene that took custody of the home for Mr. Williams.
Okay, can we go back to my question?
Sure.
Sure. Is it the normal procedure to leave high-valued items behind when you're doing a search and then a seizure pursuant to a warrant?
somebody left it for later.
It wasn't answered, Your Honor.
I don't know if there's necessarily a procedure on what you take or what you don't. Like I said, it
None.
got left behind. There were other things, like other items of evidence that I had asked to be taken, such as photographs and artwork
Ellie,
that
you
had
have good
relevance to this
memory.
case that were left behind by the evidence team. It was quite a big operation. There was a hostile crowd gathering at the bottom of the driveway, so we were trying to speed it up to get out of there.
So she's saying it was
So are
turned
you
over
telling me
to the
that
evidence team.
What's that?
So she's saying that it was turned over to the evidence team because she's saying what they leave behind and what they don't for them.
Table
I did not
scraps.
hear that. I'm gonna
Did you
go
not
back.
hear it, Jerome?
What's that?
I'm asking Jerome, did you not hear where they say there's no real procedure of what they leave behind and turn over to the evidence team?
Exactly, but
I heard the part about
she
no real
said that they
procedure.
left, but they left the, I guess, the cronies behind. When they wanted to leave to get out of there, but people was being hostile in the driveway, there was obviously still people in there that the cronies. So they was the ones stealing, in my opinion.
All right, let me listen to that because I heard the part about where apparently they don't, let me listen to
to
that.
leave high-valued items behind when you're doing
You
a
said there's no
search
real
and then a seizure
procedure.
pursuant to a warrant?
Objection out of relevance and
It wasn't answered, Your Honor.
I don't know if there's necessarily a procedure on what you take or what you don't. Like I said, it got left behind. There were other things, like other items of evidence that I had asked to be taken, such as photographs and artwork that had relevance to this case that were left behind by the evidence team. It was quite a big operation.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I did not hear her say that they left it for the evidence team. She said they were left behind by the evidence team.
Yeah, but they left. They left, but there was people still there. That's obvious. I mean, that's a no-brainer right
No,
there.
that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard her say.
It's a bit confusing because she's talking about procedure and then she says what was left behind by, or did she say by the evidence
Because
team?
Right.
she
She
said,
said
I
by,
told
not
y'all.
for.
That
Okay.
sounds like, hey, I'm leaving, but she talking to somebody else and saying, yo, don't forget to get that.
I don't know. I think somewhere along the lines, body cameras might. I don't know that to watch. Honestly, it's just I don't know. I don't know the relevance to it.
The father could have pawned the watch. If we're gonna go with conspiracy theories, the father pawned the watch.
Who, the daddy gonna steal it?
Yeah,
For a lawsuit against Atlanta police.
yeah, that's another possibility.
The daddy goes steal it.
You never know.
There was a hostile crowd gathering at the bottom of the driveway, so we were trying to speed it up to get out of there.
I know. Would a pawn shop actually take that? Probably not.
No, you gotta go to people that take gold.
And they won't even give you. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like though, really at this point, Doug's just trying to get her to contradict herself, and then that's going to be in his closing argument of well,
No, I don't think Doug's that smart. I'm sorry.
You don't think so?
No, he's not that strategic. This man did not plan. I mean, obviously, he thought, okay, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to ask about this watch and nothing else because that's all he focused on.
But I think as he was winging it, like maybe it started to make sense of like if she's saying one thing and then another thing. I don't really know
No.
what I'm thinking because it's way off from anything that has to do with Kendrick. But
I wish I could take the day off during closing. I wish it was in December. I
You
do.
don't know which day it's gonna be.
No, but I suspect it's going to be very soon. I suspect it's going to be this week.
yeah, I think Doug's not calling any witnesses.
Yeah. I'm estimating at least, depending on how long, it would depend on how long Shard's going to go with his cross.
I think Shard is gonna for Shannon, man, Shannon. I mean, he's holding it down for Shannon.
Yeah.
I think that he's gonna do some type of character for him.
They're gonna pull up grandma up there.
Oh man, no, not Granny, not Granny.
Some
Anybody but
type of
Granny.
character. Some type of character. That seems like that's how Shard moves.
No, that's terrible though, because if he puts up a character witness,
Mhm.
the state can bring in all his bad character. Right now,
Okay,
the
okay.
state is barred from introducing any bad characters of defendants.
Gotcha.
But if they
Gotcha.
open that door, then all
I
that stuff's
gotcha.
going to come in. So
I
Shard won't
gotcha.
do that.
And I
gotcha.
think Shard's done a good enough job at bringing in like the better side of Shannon
Right.
and making him seem like he's not just this tough gangster kind of person. Like, so I think I wouldn't, if I was
I
Shard,
got
I would just leave it at him. He's doing a good job.
especially with the girl that his talking about, are y'all still together? And she said, I don't know. That was a good one.
Miss
Oh,
Pris-
Tyesha.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That girl's a mess. Yeah, no, for Shard, honestly, what I'm anticipating, I think he's going to bring in. I foresee him bringing in, or at least if I was in his position, I'd bring in a cell phone data expert, somebody that knows about GPS, things of that nature.
Right.
Can we just for a second, when they had, I think it was, I can't remember who, but when they were talking about the cell phone data from the Donovan Thomas unaliving,
Mm-hmm.
did you, I don't know if anyone caught on to this, and it was another content creator who brought it up, but out of all the people that were close to or showed cell phone data that was close to the spot, that barbershop, never once was Shannon or Kendrick's name brought up or their cell phone data was brought up, and both of them are the
Right.
ones charged with it.
Exactly. You're right. You're
Right.
right.
Yeah, but
Can I
think
give my opinion of who I think did it?
who?
I think it was Threat.
Why do you think so? Hey, Karen.
Threat was off the chisel. And Woody is like the common denominator. And
He said he ain't do it, though.
he always made sure he took care of Threat. Threat,
Yeah.
God bless. He was like Woody times 2. So I think, and then look at how Threat after Nut died. Look at how Threat died. Something that was YFN. I know it was YFN. I know it was because they probably knew that it was Threat. But that's just my ideology, and I'm gonna shut up.
Oh, okay. Okay, you can say more. Do you have more to contribute?
I just think it was Threat. I
Okay.
just think it was Threat. Everything that Woody be bragging about, I think that Threat was probably right with him, and him and Threat. I don't think Woody did a lot of stuff by himself. I think
Okay.
Threat was right there with him, and they was like partners in crime. Just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Oh, okay. Okay. What do you think,
Just my
Allie?
opinion. Just my opinion.
Do you have
I
an opinion?
I think Woody had a lot more to do than what
Yeah.
than he will admit to, because I remember when Max Shard started cross-examining him and then he had brought up, well, did you do it? And then Woody went quiet and just stopped answering his questions. Well, like he didn't even have a smart ass remark to make, which he's had this whole time he's been up there. So, but
Yeah.
why are you going all quiet? And he did say he knew something about the car that was involved or something, but he wasn't going to explain more. So I feel like he knows a lot more, was involved a lot more than he'll ever,
Admit to.
And I think that at some point when I think it was the state brought it up, are you just blaming it on him because he's no longer here to defend himself? I don't think that's exactly the case of what he was doing. Like, oh, well, now I can really get out of it. I'm going to use this person. I think he really did have some involvement. But I
And
think
why would Woody? He robbed Nut. He robbed Nut, broke into his car, took his stuff, and I know that had to have been Thug that told him to bring that stuff back, just like he did with a lot of other people. Like people, I saw the trial and they was like, if you don't take that stuff back, you're gonna get killed. And people was thinking like Thug was gonna kill him. Thug was saying, yo, if you don't take that back, they gonna kill you. They was making it seem like Thug was gonna kill him, and I was wondering why they didn't, the defense didn't speak on that, because he wasn't saying you're gonna get killed. He's like, yo, if you don't give them their stuff back, they gonna kill you.
Right.
I just think for like a whole like gang and all that, like this is the most unorganized
I know.
as Woody would say, discombobulated mess that I've ever seen. That you can't, like, I'm not sure if they wanted to charge these people, these boys, with stuff, they should have done it individually and left out the RICO.
Right.
They should have ended it with. They should have ended it with Woody. When Woody, they should have ended it. Once he flipped, which he was very smart with it, because look at how they gave him immunity and everything like that. They thought that he was going to be a different guy. Once he got in that courtroom and he looked at Jeffrey Williams, he flipped it. And you could look at Love and you could tell that she was pissed.
Yeah. But I don't know why the prosecution would have thought that not just Woody, but any defendant. Here's the thing. If you get I don't know, maybe a bank teller, or I don't know, somebody that just works at Walmart, with that person, you're not sure. They might get on the stand and they might actually tell exactly what it is that happened. But people that are in the streets, it does not matter how nice you are, how friendly you are, or if you think that you're getting along. They're not going to get on the stand and snitch. It's just, that's rare. It is really rare. So I don't know why they thought Woody would get on that stand and basically hand them the case. I don't know
Because
why.
you know why?
Why?
Know why? Because of what's her name? Verito, whatever her name is.
Burrito?
That her and Woody she loved Woody. And I truthfully believe that she loved Woody. She used to talk about his kids and say, yo, don't do this, what you doing? It's about your kids. She liked Woody. So they took that, and with her information that she gave to the DA, they knew not to mess with Woody. And I truthfully believe Burrito, whatever her name is, I really think she likes Woody. I really think she likes Woody, and I don't know if Woody did some I don't know. I think that she likes Woody for some reason. I don't know what he did.
I thought it was Gaither, though. I thought, because if I remember from the interrogation tapes.
Oh yeah, Gaithers was really about protecting Woody's kids.
Right.
And you have to do it right, because if you won't protect your kids, I will. Those were Gaither's words. And I was
well, it must have been both of them then. Woody is a savvy guy then. If he got both of them, salute him. Maybe that's why he got. Maybe that's why he got immunity for everything. He got the ultimate deal.
Right. Because he got use immunity. Anything they told him they could not use against it. They should have, I'm still going to say, they should have given that to Obama. Obama would have done some stuff.
Remember when they gave him his money back?
Right.
She gave him his money back.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
And then another thing, Woody was messing with the damn Atlanta police officer.
Yeah. Oh my
They
goodness.
went together, and that's when they gave him his money back.
Yes.
And then she tried to get rid of his cell phone.
That was off.
She tried. The police officer tried to get rid of the goddamn cell phone. So
Okay,
how the heck she
but
ain't understand?
but Shannon's grandma's hiding cell phones
Corruption.
from girlfriends and stuff. Not that, and you know the best part about it, I'm like, this guy's not even worried about the police getting it, but he's worried about the girlfriend. Like,
Right.
they're just like, I don't know. This whole case just seems to be too messy, and so does the Atlanta Police Department.
Right.
Yeah, they too touchy. They too touchy.
Yeah.
Too touchy.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then we
glad.
talking about 2015. They keep putting up, because you see how the prosecution keep talking about 2022. They not going back to 2015 when they started all this crap. They want to go to 2022, trying to make it seem like it's recent. This started back in 2015, 14, 13. Come on.
I think it was ready to be indicted just after Donovan Thomas was murdered. And then again, Paul Howard said, I'm not doing it because we have
Paul
self-proclaimed liars.
Yeah.
And then Fonnie Willis went on this tangent with all these Ricos.
Right.
And so she thought that she was going to, be smart and do it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Funny next week. I just have to figure out the right
That'll be a
time to
short
talk
story.
about it.
I want to talk about the DJ. That'll be a short story. Just look up the DJ. The DJ that was living in the house where her daddy said he was like, "Yo, I don't like living here," because he had all his DJ equipment in the house, and her daddy was mad because he couldn't walk around because he had all his DJ equipment in the house. So we need to know who that DJ is. That's
All
what.
right, I'm making a note. I'm making a note.
Let's see who's that DJ. That's what I want to know.
I'm making a note. All right, let's get back to Doug.
So are you telling me that law enforcement has no procedure with what you do with high value items that are subject to a seizure warrant?
It's asked and answered at this point.
Okay. So the watch you say was left behind.
Sure.
What else wasn't done according to your instructions at the home that day?
I believe there were 2 pieces of artwork that were, one was Mr. Williams in a general uniform with snakes on his arm, and then one was Mr. Williams as like the Jesus at the Last Supper with all the people around him that I thought were relevant that were not taken. And like I said, it started to get pretty hostile out there, so we were trying to speed things up.
Okay.
You said that there were many people with body cams in the
Correct.
home at the time. How many people approximately at the time of this raid of the home, let's call it that, were wearing body cams?
Almost everybody.
Almost.
And did these body cams capture Mr. Kendrick within the home?
I believe they caught Mr. Kendrick running from the home.
That's not the question I asked.
They caught him outside of the home. I don't know how to better come answer the question.
It's either a yes, no.
No.
Is there body cam image of Mr. Kendrick within Mr. Williams' home?
The body camera image I saw was him running from the home.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is there body cam image of
No.
Mr.
Answer
Williams
yes or no, and then you can explain.
in the home?
I haven't reviewed it, all of the entry team's body camera.
So
but
why were you?
No.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Did you see Mr. Kendrick in Mr. Williams' home?
Yes or no?
On that, by the time I arrived at the location, the entry was already made. So I did not, no.
You did not? Okay. Did you, there were approximately a half a dozen firearms found within the home, correct?
Correct.
Have you seen any images of Mr. Kendrick possessing any of those firearms?
I have not.
Have you seen any images of Mr. Kendrick near those firearms?
I have not.
There were drugs found in the home, correct?
Correct.
Did you see Mr. Kendrick with any of those drugs?
No.
Did you see Mr. Kendrick anywhere near any of those drugs?
No.
As far as you know, was Mr. Kendrick in actual possession of any of those drugs?
No, I wasn't there when they made entry.
Have you spoken to anyone? No, let me take that back. Did you speak to Mr. Kendrick at all at that time?
I did not.
Okay. As far as you know, did Mr. Kendrick have any of those drugs, as far as you know?
As far as I know, no.
And as far as you know, did he have any of those guns?
I just know he was in the home where they were located at some point that day.
Okay. Let's talk about the mob ties video for just a moment.
Yes.
So in that video, at the very end, right, we have Mr. Kendrick saying, excuse my language, saying, knock it off your big homie bitch, correct?
Correct.
Do you recall how many times that line was stated?
Let's fast forward a little bit.
He kind of made a good recovery there with the taking him away from being in possession of all that.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
In the Hood.
And what's happening to Ricky in Boys in the Hood that's running like Ricky has become a meme?
He's getting gunned down in a drive-by shooting.
And what's he doing when he's getting gunned down?
Running.
And he's running down an alley, correct?
Yes.
And he's running at a pretty good clip away from the vehicle that is shooting him with a shotgun, correct?
Correct.
Okay. He's not standing on a sidewalk, right?
I didn't insinuate that.
Sorry?
I didn't insinuate that.
No, I didn't say you did. I'm just
Okay,
asking
yeah,
you a
no.
question.
He's running.
Okay. And he's running directly away from the shotgun that's coming out of a car to shoot him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. This picture here of I guess it's Duke, it's Martinez Arnold, correct?
Yes.
And Diamante Kendrick. This is from June 23rd, 2020,
And
correct?
honestly, the names that have come up a lot. Who's this? Garlington, obviously Woody. Who else came up a lot? Obviously Jeffrey. Who else came up that's not in this trial? I don't know. They've
Correct.
had
Correct.
And that is
kind of appears not kind of. Okay, we've concluded they should have not charged this. They
is
should not have
approximately 5 years and 5 months after the killing of Donovan Thomas.
Hmm.
Yes, this picture was more so of importance to me to show the alliance between the Crips and YSL.
Oh, that's right. That's a hybrid gang, right?
Correct.
Okay. And a hybrid gang is kind of like a nose of wax, right? It's something that you can.
And Jerome, isn't that a John Singleton movie, or am I mistaken? Boys in the Hood?
John Singleton. I'm not John Singleton. I don't.
I'll
That's
look
a
it
good
up.
one.
Twist
John
and
Singleton.
fold
That's
so that any type of characteristics that you find.
But why?
meet
Why?
the
But why would
definition
they
of a
say running away? When they said running away, I don't know what the strategy was for that. Because that scene when they had the light-skinned guy in the red car, and he turned around when he saw that red car. He turned around and was running. He got shot in the back. So I don't understand what the ideology behind that.
I did not get that connection either, but maybe somebody on the jury did, and they will sway the rest of the members to wherever it is that who's this? Doug was trying to lead them. I did not get that analogy.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, let me
gang,
see.
right?
That's not true.
It isn't true. Why wouldn't that be true?
For example, this hybrid gang with Mr. Arnold, this came about when Mr. Keith Troop died, and Mr. Williams gave the eulogy at Mr. Keith Troop's funeral. And if
Yeah,
you look-
I just looked it up. Boys in the Hood was directed by John Singleton.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's one of. I don't know if you guys watched Snowfall or not, but he was. I think was he director, creator. I don't know. Now I'm just going on over different things. Let me let.
to Mr. Kitchens, he tells the story about how Mr. Williams was put in charge to take care of Mr. Kitchens and guide him, and he's the one that kind of took them under their wing, and it was okay. And Mr. Williams was the first one to cross color lines when it came to gangs here in Georgia, and they
But
were.
hold on, wait. Is she talking
first
about
uneasy
Mr.
with-
Kitchens as in like Gunna, Sergio Kitchens?
Yep.
Because I don't think he was ever a gang member. I don't think he even had a criminal record before this RICO.
He's only on the trial because when they got, I think they was on the way to the airport to get a rental car when they got pulled over because it was right by the airport. and that's when they had the book bag, and Thug had that was his bag, and he had all that stuff in there.
But so why is she bringing up that he was supposed to at that funeral that he was supposed to take Kitchens under his wing or whatever, and that's when he crossed color lines?
Well, the thing with Kitchens Gunna is that Thug took him under his wing. So somebody died that was Gunna's like his mentor, and Thug took him under his wing when my man died. So he took him under, and they just trying to use that because once my man died, I can't remember his name. Thug took him under and said, "Yo, I'm gonna take you under my wing." So
Okay, so
that's what they're doing.
This guy who passed away was a Crip, but Gunna wasn't.
Correct.
Like okay, because I thought maybe they're confusing with what's his name, Duke there.
Nah.
Because I know
Do they
Duke's
have the same last name?
No, but I know Duke is Martinez Arnold's, but I know Duke is a Crip.
Yeah.
And then he was signed to the record label, and that's why
I
they're
can't
saying it's
remember
hybrid
the
gang.
guys. I can't remember dude's name because but you are correct on that. I can't remember his name.
It's Martinez Arnold.
Arnold.
It's Duke.
Let me see.
Okay, but now it makes sense because I was confused if why Gunna was brought into that, but okay, makes sense.
Yeah, he took him under his wing, and he promised, and Doug made Gunna look like he was like a little bro. You know what I'm saying? The little bro. And obviously Gunna, he wasn't no gang guy. He was not. So I truthfully, like, I don't listen to his music, but he was definitely not no gangsta ass nigga. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Let's get in here. I think he's about to.
With that, but Keith Troop explained to them, no, it's okay. This is something we do now. So that's an example. And the Department of Justice defines hybrid gangs as a gang member's participation in multiple gangs, vague rules and code of conduct, gangs or different gangs collaborating together to commit crimes.
Terrible.
And there's several other definitions, but it's not just something I made up. The Department of Justice is
No, I know, and what I'm trying to understand from you is I've seen multiple gang experts come in here and talk about definitions of gangs and definitions of hybrid gangs, and it just appears that if a group of individuals don't fit your definition of a gang, that they automatically get classified as a hybrid gang. I'm asking a question about hybrid gang.
Well,
Can you explain what a hybrid gang is?
yes, I gave you part of it. It's traditionally a neighborhood gang or local gang that tries to take on the identifiers of a traditional gang. Like, I'm from New York. The gangs in New York are much more structured. The gangs in LA, Chicago are much more structured. I apologize for New York. The gangs are much more structured here in Georgia. You'll see there are neighborhood cliques that will adopt the identifiers, like YSL, for example, adopted the identifiers of sex, money, murder. They were sex, money, murder based in the beginning, but then Mr. Williams decided to do his own spin on it.
Goodness, what?
Like I said, when he was very close to Keith Troop, when he was deceased, he kind of, or prior to that, like I said, if you watch, there's history about it where Mr. Kitchens talks about he was sent to go help out Mr. Williams at one point. And at first he was uneasy, like, oh, do we do this? And he said,
Slow
How
down.
does she know that?
So,
Yeah, it's just-
sustain,
yeah.
take your say.
That is all you hear say.
I'm trying to understand
Just answer the question.
without giving examples. If you can define hybrid gang.
it is a neighborhood gang that takes on pieces of traditional gangs. And like I said, you'll have individuals from different gangs working together. You will have the mixed use of identifiers, like we've seen through the presentation of evidence here. Like here, this snake and the blue heart for the Crips. Vague rules and code of conduct. Sex, money, murder, bloods have a rank structure. I don't know a rank structure within YSL. So they take pieces of what they like and they put their own spin on it, but are still backed by a traditional gang.
So a traditional gang would have a hierarchy, correct?
So she knows everything.
But
She's an
according
expert.
to to, I believe, the testimony we've heard, YSL as a gang doesn't have a hierarchy.
They don't have,
That's
like the
insane.
Goodfellas, for example, they have,
I'm
He
asking,
did a good
let's go
job at
back to my
at
question.
eliciting
What
like
YSL?
there's no
Right.
hierarchy, there's no, so like he really pulled Jeffrey
Right.
Williams out of being the leader.
Right. I
Right.
agree, but he would not have gotten there had she not been over talking. Because
True.
she's just talking instead of answering questions. And I don't know if I don't know, but I don't know if they prepped her. I don't know if they did not prep her, but
Right.
she's over talking. Answer the question,
Over.
yes or no, move
And
on.
then he should have asked what year are we talking about? We going from 2015 is whatever 15. We going from like 2013, 12, all the
Yeah.
way to 22.
Right. Yeah, but that's crazy. I don't know. That's crazy.
It's just
Hey,
a mess.
hey,
See,
hey,
it's
hey,
all a
Go ahead, I'm
mess.
you gotta
sorry.
look up one more thing we gotta look up. And
What?
truthfully, you're faster. Look up how many agencies that Valero, what's her name? Valero, whatever it is.
Burrito?
Look at how many agencies that she's been with until today when she's on. She went through 5 different agencies and she got a promotion. Look that up.
Yeah,
And I'm a,
I think she probably did that for the money. That's what I'd assume. Or
yeah, but that's
okay.
how she made herself seem like she was an expert because she was moving around. But
This woman is not an
we gonna
expert.
look it up. We can look it up. Let's go.
She's not an expert. We've already
Oh no, she
the
is not.
conclusion.
But it's just like how did she be moving around like that? You know what I mean? That's the question I have because that's a conflict. But
No, everything's not a conflict, Jerome.
She's just being with
why?
the
Because
state
she
and
could
making it
say
confusing.
she makes friends like Woody.
That
She
is
makes
not a conflict.
friends. She makes friends. She makes friends.
That's
I
not a
just
conflict.
think that she that's almost saying that she becomes just like Gaither. I don't trust neither one of them. They like gangs. They in the game, and then they manipulate the system. But we can move on. I'm gonna shut up.
All right.
Extra confidence in explaining
It's so
her. I
funny.
mean, the witness is being explained.
Well, the answer wasn't responsive to my question.
Overruled. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. YSL does not have a hierarchy as a traditional gang does, correct?
they don't have a set of leadership like roles, no.
Okay, so in that sense, they wouldn't fit into the definition of a traditional gang.
But they're still welcomed by members of.
So if they don't have a leadership role, then why would this also goes against, I don't know, I forgot who it was that called Obama for permission to stab Lucci. Like, so why is he asking for permission if there's no hierarchy? Like, I don't know.
I didn't hear nobody say that.
No, this was going back to when Obama testified. They played a recording. I believe this was a jail call of, I don't remember who it was, but they tried to make it seem as if another YSL member called Obama asking for permission to.
Exactly. And then they called from jail and he said, I'll call you back.
Right, right,
This whole case seems to me like it's just a bunch of boys at the time they were boys
right.
running around trying to survive,
Yeah,
you know, doing what they had to do to survive and just causing a mess on their own.
right. Definitely not a Rico. Not a Rico. All right, let's get back to Doug.
The sex, money, murder, bloods.
Can you just answer my question?
Yes.
Okay. So my question was, they don't fit into the definition of a traditional gang.
Correct.
So instead, they get slotted over to this catch-all category of hybrid gang, correct?
I wouldn't call it a catch-all, no.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weinstein.
All right.
And Max doesn't even introduce himself when he gets up there. He doesn't say, "Hi, I'm Max Shard and I represent Shannon Stillwell." He was ready to go.
Yeah, no, he was on fire. He was on fire. I mean, I love watching Max cross-examine. Definitely one of the best that I've seen. Obviously, tomorrow that's when we will hear the I guess, the gist of or the crux of his cross examination. And I just know that's going to be an eventful day. I don't know how the prosecution is going to do with redirect, because that Viverito, she just does not, I don't know, she does not follow directions. She does not answer questions. She volunteers information. So yeah, we'll see. But guys, I am gonna end it here because I have to be up in 5 hours and go to work and carry on like I did not go to bed after midnight. So thank you both for joining me on this live. It was fantastic. Thanks to everybody else that tuned in. I'll be live again tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time. No, not 9, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll put the the link in the chat, and whoever wants can definitely hop on. Ellie, Jerome, any last words?
Her last, the closing for everything is not from 2022, it's from 2015, and she knows
Okay.
nothing, and that's her last, their last witness.
Right. Right. I don't know how I just don't know. This whole thing is a mess. And I know I had said goodnight, but the thing is, I don't know how then Fani intends to proceed with another RICO a RICO trial after this mess, but I guess we are yet to see it.
We gotta pray for Farley. Farley, that's all I gotta say. We gotta pray for Farley because
Who?
Farley, the light skinned dude. That was in
Miles,
the
Pray for him.
car. That was in the
Miles Farley?
car. Yes, we gotta pray for him because they're gonna pick up table scraps like him. That's what they're gonna do because they definitely gonna lose this, but they're gonna pick up table scraps. And truthfully, Garlington, little D,
Yeah.
he better be watching because he might be in trouble. He might be in trouble.
Yeah, they've talked. Honestly, with this specific trial, this Woody should have been in this trial. William should have been in this trial. And then I guess we'll see who's up next. But I don't
And
know.
there's
This
still
is
like 12 more of them awaiting trial.
right.
Like, what a mess. What a
That's gonna
mess.
be chaotic.
Love you
That is,
guys. When we doing another live again? What,
I'm back.
Saturday, Friday, Saturday, you say?
No, I'm back tomorrow. I'm trying to be on live every night. I don't know how I'm gonna do next week though, because next week I'll be going to New Orleans. But well, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. No, why do I keep saying 9 p.m.? 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Wednesday, I think we should start early. So 9. And I mean, if I'm going to put the, what is this? The link in the chat. If you're available and can join, definitely hop on.
Yeah, it was a good night. I
All
appreciate
right.
you
I
guys.
appreciate the conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you both for joining. And thanks everybody for watching.
Have a good
Love.
night.
All right. Good night.